Hi everyone, I'm Fiona Waddell. I work at the intersection of intuition, the nervous system, and embodied energy work. And today I want to talk to you about something I hear all the time in spiritual growth and personal growth areas. This idea that you just need to raise your frequency and everything will fall into place is a very confusing narrative. Because for a lot of people, this advice isn't helping. In fact, it's often making things worse for people. So, in this video today, I want to slow this conversation down and bring it back into our bodies, into something practical, grounded, and actually usable. So, I'm going to point out what frequency is, the hang-ups, and then solutions for it. Because if you've ever done a reading with me or a session, no matter what the future potential is or future possibilities, we always have solutions. We can always tune in. So stop saying raise your frequency because we're doing it wrong. I use the phrase, but I know how to use it. So this isn't about vibes, it's about structure, your nervous system, your perception filters, and your daily regulation. What people think frequency is they think it's positive thinking, high vibes only, feeling good all the time. Like Pollyanna, this may date me, but if you remember the movie Pollyanna, spiritual bypassing is the big one there. One meditation ritual or affirmation is going to fix everything. It's that one thing, it's a transaction. Or chasing emotional highs and calling it alignment. I see this a lot in the spiritual community. I have traveled across Canada, back and forth. I have met hundreds of readers, healers, some of them world renowned. And I find the more trainings they have and the more convoluted offerings they offer, like 30 services, I find that they're the most dysregulated. The one that have this, um, yeah, it's not about certifications and the one thing that's going to fix it, because feeling elevated isn't the same as being regulated. You can feel high and still be completely dysregulated underneath. And I can think of several times I was working in psychic fair networks and circuits, and I would just question. I would see something, and me being me, I've got a Sag sun, a Sag rising, and an Aquarius moon. If I see something and I want context, I'm going to ask. And it could come across as negative if it questions your narrative or your ideology. And I'm not attacking. I am asking for clarification, genuine clarification, understanding, because I want to understand where you're at. Because my intuition is saying something's not aligned. I'm getting those nudges of feeling unsafe or my no. And I have been put on trial in some of these communities just for asking questions or questioning actions. Um, I'm not being loyal and I don't understand. And I'm bringing negativity into it. I'm not being negative. Like if you genuinely knew me, it's curiosity and something isn't aligned. And if you can't answer it, then that's not me being negative. That's an opportunity for you to explore. It's always it comes down to whatever I'm triggering you with is like you got to go deal with that because I'm going to keep triggering you until you fix it. So you can feel high and still be completely dysregulated, and that's that. People think it's this highness that makes them healed, But what frequency actually is, it's how our system is organized. It's shaped by our nervous system state, being in a state of peace, out of fight or flight. It's our perception filters, because that's how we see timelines, where we want to see. Our perception filter, and what our body considers safe or unsafe. Like, it's simple, eh? It sounds simple. So here's a perfect thing that you could like attest in the real world. You can see this on the media, you can see this in the workplace. Heck, you can see this at a family gathering or dinner. Two people in the same environment, same information, can experience completely different realities. Like their genuine reality is one thing. I've actually had people say to me, my timeline didn't have that. And I'm sitting there going, but we literally just sat because they're tuned in to different information, or they're making different decisions, or their system doesn't feel safe. So they feel the need to mask or put up a wall. So that's a beautiful experiment you can do. So here's a reframe that changes everything. Frequency determines what you notice, what you avoid, and what you can sustain. Let me repeat that. Frequency determines what you notice, because you notice what you notice. That's the energy you're in, what you avoid, and what you can sustain. It's not about attracting something new and shiny. It's about what your system can hold without collapsing or self-sabotaging. Now that sounds like really big energy. Like what? Those sound epic. I break everything down into every day for everyone, for myself. And I can't remember which teacher online. Um, I think it might have been like the law of attraction or one of those teachers in that area, um, where, they ask, how many red cars did you see on the way in today? And they're like, I don't know. Okay, I want you to look for the red cars on the way home. And suddenly on the way home, they'll see like 50 red cars. And so that's an easy example of what you notice. But they may also be avoiding the purple cars, the green cars, the silver cars. And then how long you can sustain that? How long is he or she going to be? Are they going to be looking for red cars? How long are you going to hold that until you move on to something else? So it's about what your system can hold without collapsing or self-sabotaging. Super important. So, and I'll be talking about techniques and approaches to help you stay in the frequency energy you desire. So here are the techniques. The first one is nervous system regulation before decision making. If everyone just took this pause before making big decisions and quieting the noise, pretty sure this world would be a fantastic place. It already is, but I could be much better. So before we need to make a decision or when we're looking for a solution, placing your hands on your heart. And just for those of you a little more advanced, it doesn't matter if it's the right or left. Like I've seen people hung up on these details and I just want to bang on my head. Hand over heart. Close the energetic circuit of your biofield. And just take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Squared breathing is a great breathing technique if you're not familiar with one. 4 count inhale. 4 count hold. 4 count exhale. 4 count hold. 4 counts. And doing that a few times. It lets the body settle. What if I told you the highest vibration, the emotion we seek, isn't love, but it's authenticity, truth, peace, one at ease with who they are. And that's what this simple activity helps us embody our energy again, brings us back to this beautiful measuring stick, a tool for us. And when our frequency stabilizes, our body feels safe. We're not running on adrenaline. The blood is not out in our limbs to go into fight or flight, but the blood is actually in our brain so we can think clearly. Our cortisol levels have dropped. We're not in survival mode. We're not grasping onto things to get answers. We're here in this space. And this is where we can hear our yes, our no, or nothing, or a maybe. And a lot of people panic when they get into the maybe or like not a clear, full-bodied yes or no, because the maybe might be need more information, a not yet, or keep searching, but you're not on the wrong path, right? But you can't even get that clarity if you don't sit in this energy, because frequency stabilizes when the body feels safe. Then we can choose more clearly, or at least listen with clarity. The next one is pattern tracking instead of sign chasing. And I see this a lot, especially at the fairs and amongst other readers. There is nothing wrong with going to go see a reader for direction, but having to get the answer from a psychic, I'll be talking about that later, but listen to your own authority, listen to your own intuition, because you do not know what state that reader's nervous system's in. They could be completely dysregulated and offering bias. Always use your own authority. I can't stress that enough. And they're looking for answers, or they keep asking the same question over and over again. And you're creating noise and chaos and dysregulating your system. So you have no hope in actually getting the answers. None. So notice what repeats. Track themes, not one-off signs. Intuition shows up consistently, not dramatically. So I'll give you an example. I was in a career, and for I'd probably say a year and a half, everything went south, like seriously south. And I'm determined. I will not give up. I am a recovering people pleaser. And I just want to get in there and I wanted to fix it. And I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to overcome these obstacles. I was asking questions, trying to do things differently. It almost became the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I just had to take the results that I was getting because I was doing everything I was told, absolutely everything I was told. Um, and I was also out learning to try new things, and nothing was working. And I got super tied up in it, super dysregulated my system completely. And I'm blessed because people were placed in my life who were different, who actually questioned the entire system I was involved in and what I was doing. They weren't negative. They could come across as negative to other people in the field, but they were genuinely saying like, is this really like how one lives? Like, is this how people are supposed to live? Like this is not real. Like this, no one can live this long doing this. So I started slowing down. I started reaching out, um, stepping away and separating myself from that energy, and started following what felt right for me. And I did a huge pivot. It terrified the heck out of me, but a huge pivot. And my life is the better for it. because I've pivoted a few more times since then, but I now notice when I change things, I'm listening to my intuition, it doesn't work out. It's not me. Like I don't take it personally, but my intuition is saying, hey, you've tried something 7 different ways. You've given a good go at it. You've done everything you're supposed to. What is your intuition telling you? And usually it's like you have a new path, a new journey, a new beginning. Start leaning in on that. If you're always waiting for a sign, you're usually avoiding trust. I know. I'm sorry. If you're like, let that sink in. If you're always waiting for that sign, that answer, that perfect answer from a reader or the right card spread or the perfect job posting, you're usually avoiding trust. And it's typically trust in yourself and what your thoughts are. So you need to come back to healing your trust. Next is daily capacity building. So short, repeatable practices, less intensity, more consistency, frequency shifts through repetition, not force. Frequency is built the same way strength is, slowly, deliberately, and with care. I was in the fitness industry for years, and I can tell you there, when you're building muscle and building strength, it takes time. It takes time and commitment and routine. So short, repeatable tasks can be, for example, my mornings are almost the same if I can help it. I wake up, I get my coffee, I do a little bit of breath work, I play with my cats, take care of their food, I do the dishes, I have something light to eat, I do some movement, I do a card pull, I envision my day, and then I get going. Then I start the shower. Da, 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 da. But it's the same routine that I feel safe in, that I feel calm in. And as I said, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I used to wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and like run and be out the door by 5:30. And I would be running on adrenaline and cortisol all day, all day. But now I keep a safe, compassionate, calm, embodied practice for myself in the mornings. And I have something similar for the nights. I have my breath work. I have my stretching. I have my quiet time when I listen to my body. When I do my work, like my business side of things, I use the stop and breathe and calm and sit. I use what I explain and express and share. So these small practices and routines is what can build the strength of our frequency and trust in our intuition. It's monumental. Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be like turn your world upside down. Just systems that keep your body safe. So here are some common frequency mistakes and how to avoid them. So confusing intensity with alignment. Big emotions does not equal truth. So you feel extremely passionate and you're really loud and you have to share to it's like an extrovert on steroids. It doesn't mean they're right. Also, urgency doesn't equal intuition. I see this a lot with people in twin flames. Like this person's my twin flame and I just feel this love and they're going to be the right person. I will wait years for them. No one is meant to wait years for anyone. No one is meant to sacrifice their life for a dream or a cause in this way. There's I know I'm going to get people saying, well, so and so did, like I do think of the pursuit of happiness and that gentleman there. but he was embodied and in the moment. He didn't have big emotions. He was passionate and he was driven, but he wasn't running around ripping his hair out, feeling like he's got to do this now. That's not your intuition. Our intuition is calm. It's regulated. Activation often comes when the nervous from the nervous system, not just clarity. Avoid by avoid it by prioritizing calm, steady signals over dramatic ones. Our guides, our intuition, is not going to spell it out to us perfectly. They'll give us visions, feelings, sensations, nudges. I had a client of mine thank me. She goes, doing the work with you. She was in my Reiki courses and she's listened to a few things I've done. And she goes, you helped me stop and listen. And I can hear my intuition now. It is nudges, it is quiet, but it's bang on. Feels good. So it's not in the big, loud energy. It's the small nudges. Small nudges. Next one, number two, I've touched on already, is outsourcing authority. I just did a post on this the other day. Relying on signs, cards, other people are constant confirmation. Tools are mirrors, not decision makers. We don't hand our authority over to other people. We are energetic, sovereign beings. I have so many people come to me and say, should I go back to them? Should I go after this job? Should I? Should I? And I pull cards and I say, this is what happens if you go back. This is current energy. This is what happens if you go back. This is what happens if you don't go back. No matter what, like if you're not meant to go back to someone, I will have you leave at the end, you know. Um, and always like it's but the opposite. I always have them landing on their feet eventually. It might take a little more time, healing, course correction, but there is no wrong decision. Go be curious. We're here to play. There's a resistance because that resistance encourages growth. There's always change. If we weren't confronted with change, we would still be sitting in diapers. We'd still be crawling on the floor. We were challenged to stand up, walk on our own, get potty trained, get dressed, feed ourselves. Change is good. Relying on ourselves is good. Nobody else can choose our future. We have free will. Don't, and what I mean by is outsourcing authority. Don't give your power off to another teacher, guru, psychic, ideology. Think for yourself. Lean into that. Avoid this by building trust through practice and lived experience, which means go be curious. Go try new things. Say yes to many things to learn what you need to say no to. I say this a lot in readings when I get this kind of energy. When it comes to love, I will say, hey, do you want a partner that plays darts? If you do, you yourself need to be out playing darts. You're not going to find them sitting at home. So, experience when I start getting that energy in the cards. And then number three, this mistake is trying to bypass the body. And I see this a lot with psychics and healers and readers, a lot of people in the community. So raising frequency without addressing your own regulation. Always trying to be high vibe, but not dealing with your nervous system. Ignoring exhaustion, stress, or overwhelm. I see this a lot. I see this a lot with women, with empaths, and people pleasers. They brag or almost wear it as a badge of honor, working a 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday, taking care of friends, family, and then On the weekends, they work a second job and that they share with everyone, oh, it's just what I do. And it's martyr complex, right? They have to look like they're like they're pushing through, they're working hard, but they're bypassing their body because there's no way on this green earth that your body can sustain that. Something's going on. And there's a reason you are driven to be on the go 7 days and push through exhaustion and stress and overwhelm and then wear it as a badge of honor. Because it means you're bypassing your body, which is extremely unhealthy. So avoid it by work. So avoid this whole situation by working with your body, not over it. Listen to your body. You might need to cut back on certain things. Course correct. You can't think your way into a new frequency. You have to train your system because this is the container that holds the frequency. So nurturing yourself. It doesn't have to be like joining the gym and, doing crazy workouts. It's listening to the body, nurturing the body with food and water and just love and compassion, slowing down maybe, gentler exercises, and taking rest when needed. It would be a beautiful society if people recognized, resting and relaxing and taking care of oneself is a badge of honor because it means you prioritize yourself. And when we prioritize ourself, our body, our nervous system is more regulated. We can make better decisions and we can contribute to those around. My hands are buzzing. We can contribute to those around us more effectively. So if you want to practice these skills in a safe space, not just learn about them, that's what I offer in the Intuition Circle and my other training programs. So if you're new here, you can go check them out. I do have a private, but free private Facebook group called The Soul Path, where I offer occasional events, instructions. I do a free card pull every week. It's just a wonderful community. In the Intuition Circle, though, it's a monthly membership, and this is where intuition becomes usable, consistent, and embodied. This is where we can apply it to love, apply it to relationships, apply it to our money story, our career, our healing, our past. You don't need to chase frequency. You need to build capacity. I hope you like this content, and I would love for you to hit like, subscribe, share with your friends who may gain from this information. I loved having you here, and I look forward to creating more content for you. Take care.